Right away, and we're starting off with what's trending in the papers this morning. Let's check out Saturday Vanguard. Now, the big story there, of course, you must have followed this police docking minors in Abuja on Friday, and that's what we are seeing now. It's the most dominant story here. 4 slump before arraignment. They attempted to destabilize Nigeria, incite mutiny, shouting Tinubu must go, it's military we want. And 72 others get 720 million naira bail. But of course there is concern by some individuals and groups, including Huriwa, saying that the arraignment of malnourished minors violates their fundamental human rights. And social media, in the meantime, blows up as netizens fault federal government over arraignment of minors. What should we do as INEC and state independent electoral commissions are failing our democracy? That's also something you may want to check up on. I will not withdraw tax reforms bill, says President Tinubu. This and more on the Vanguard.
Well, let's quickly move on now to first news. And the big story here is still on the arraignment, and national outcry intensifies over detained minors. And the writer says it is heartbreaking, even children aren't spared. That's coming from Atiku Abubakar. Minors collapsing in court, a national disgrace, will be there talking. And government must release detained minors immediately and unconditionally. Amnesty International, they are talking. And we have the picture story of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, left presides over the official handover ceremony of Major General Olufemi Oluyede, takes on his new role as the acting Chief of Army Staff on November 1st at the Army headquarters in Abuja. And Tinubu stands firm on tax reform bills amid opposition from NEC and northern governors. A very dark man arraigned, granted bail. And we have a very story here that says, we are Wike's investment, APC tells Ubara. All of these stories there on the front page of First News this morning.
Saturday Times is next. Hoodlums kill middle-aged man, burn corpse in Ebonyi State. That's a human angle story. In the same vein, police nab suspected human organ harvest as a really concerning one there. At the courts, the court order final forfeiture of $2.04 million linked to the former CBN governor, Emefiele. Of course, this caption, following the trend, outrage greats trial of 76 youth for treasonable felony as 4 faint in court. AGF intervenes, demand case filed from police. And on the entertainment industry, I had 20 boyfriends that serve different purposes, says Regina Daniels. I'm a beast when it comes to work. Tiwa Savage says, I'll rather be childless with my wife than cheat on her, says Ilbliss. And health experts explain common causes of cardiovascular disease.
All right, The Guardian weekend this morning, U.S. presidential election, how climate change, abortion, tax, others will shape voters' choice. Page 4 there of The Guardian weekend this morning. An outrage over arraignment of minors in court. Tinubu, Ganduje, and power of intellectuals in governance. Encroachment on power lines, rights of way persists amid dangers and clampdown. And disappointing UK denied of justice for Africa. All of the stories there on the front page of The Guardian newspaper this morning.
Right. Let's quickly, have a bite at, this story of the arraignment, the report of the arraignment of 76 youth for alleged treasonable felony. Of course, there was concern, there remains concern in the air, in the country and beyond about, the fact that there were some minors amongst them, looking more apparent minors among them. Some of them fainted. And of course, there was the concern about the state, their physical state, how they look. But then we've seen responses from the federal government. The Office of the Attorney General of the Federation says that they have requested for the case file because it was a case brought in by the police. And so it's likely that the AGF will take over as he has requested for the file. And though a new date has been given for January, he also says he will work on bringing the case earlier to be heard before January?
Well, it is expected that thorough investigations should be made concerning the particular arraignments that we saw yesterday. On some of them are minors, and we've seen reactions on this particular development, saying it's outbreak, it's a national disgrace that we have such minors being arraigned in the courts. But we hope that necessary investigations will be done to ensure that are these the protesters that we also saw during that protest on some month back in the country.
Also understand that they were drawn from outside Abuja
and other states. So well, we hope thorough investigations is done concerning this matter.
But for them to come to court, it's expected that investigations have been concluded. Because the police is also saying in a press release we saw earlier in the day that they followed due process in investigating and arraigning them. The offences against them are quite weighty, and the fact that they are young, according to the police, doesn't mean they shouldn't face or own up or be arraigned and prosecuted in line with the law. But we'll see how it goes.
See how this will pan out.
We'll see how it goes.
And ensure that those who need to be prosecuted should be done, that we shouldn't punish the innocents.
Absolutely. Very crucial. Still